Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Friday morning trading session. End of another work week. Wahoo! We've had a few glitches this week, technical glitches. But things are back to normal now. Just a quick reminder for those of you who didn't hear me yesterday. I'm out of town for the next couple of weeks. So the trading room is going to be on hold until April 25th. Adam may be making alternate arrangements, but he's still thinking about it. Normally we just close down the room for a couple of weeks when I'm gone and then resume. And so you'll want to mark April 25th on your calendar. That's when I'll be back in the trading saddle. So big or a little bit of an opening gap this morning. The market in a little bit of a tailspin yesterday. Nothing too terribly serious, but a little bit of a pullback type session. Bottomed out near the close. Pardon me. A little bit quiet through the Asian session, and then the Europeans rallied it up a little bit. So it does look like we have a little bit of a gap down here, and we might be seeing the market try to get into this gap. Now, according to the Eagle, we are kind of working a rule of three signal here. We don't quite have the test of the extreme. Really need to see that test of the extreme before we go crazy and try to short it. Right now, the market very much in an uptrend. Did get a first micro macro cross here out of the hawk while I was looking the other way. That has since fallen off and hit its profit objective, and it looks like the Falcon fell here to the primary resistance where it seemed to be pinched between primary resistance and the secondary resistance line. And that's kind of how things are this morning. Kind of the whole week has been waffling a little bit back and forth. If this in fact it does develop into a trading range, this would be a much larger trading range to take advantage of. One that we can actually make a profit in. So the band trying to give us a cloud crossover here on the Raptor. We'll see whether it goes into the band, comes out with a sell signal. That might be worth an attempt to short. But right now, as I said, we're very much still in an uptrend, working a possible red bar buy here on the Eagle. And let's see what's going on in crude oil. Crude oil, a little bit of a tear this morning. So ever since the afternoon session yesterday, nice late filter entry signal here. Note the trend line never went out of sync. Very important. Filter goes out of sync, comes back into sync. We get a signal, very, very high probability signal. And it looks as though crude oil never looked back. My goodness, that's a huge move. So let's say we got in there, got out there. Where are we at right now? That's a $2,000 move, folks. Huge, huge move. So we'll see whether crude oil lends some support here to the stock market. Sometimes they do tend to move together. At the moment, we're still kind of in limbo. Just snooping around here a little bit, making sure I'm not missing any opportunities. So far, it looks as though, well, not sure. Sometimes the market just, needs a few moments to sort itself out. And I do believe this is one of those moments. Possible 4-arrow consolidation working here. All right, here's signal number 3 on the hawk. Not a very pretty 4-arrow consolidation. Normally with the 4-arrow consolidations, we like to see this bear flag type shape to it. And in fact, this one tripped on the 3rd arrow, didn't even give us that 4th arrow. Here on the Raptor, we have something resembling a cloud crossover signal. The cloud gained some support, or gave some support to the market right here. We've come out, we've since produced a sell signal. Haven't engaged it just yet. Okay, this is looking like a little bit better cloud crossover. I'd like to see the market actually get into that cloud a little bit. And here we are, we're producing a sell signal. I'm not real keen on it because what I'm concerned is that this is going to be a great big trading range just like this. And I'm going to end up shorting the bottom end of the trading range only to see the market trade to the top end. See the Geiger counter getting a little heavy here, or was getting a little heavy here to the buy side. Very quiet. A lot of times on a Friday you see them get busy early, get those orders in, get the job done, do your paperwork, go home. Got a little bit of a rule of 3 here in gold market. It's a little sloppy because, the market is very, very sideways, or has been very sideways of late. But we've got 1, 2 signals against the hard edge. This is kind of our first with trend signal here in gold, confirming the rule of 3 type scenario. I can risk the trade fairly deep, which is encouraging. It gives me a chance to have a little bit more staying power, but what's very important here is that we have had this higher swing low So far so good on that gold trade. Now we've broken here above the high. We might expect a little bit of a retest as the sellers try to force the market down. Might even get a hard edge bounce. Hopefully we'll come out of here pretty quick with another buy signal, and that should spur the market a little bit higher. So a decent looking opportunity there in the gold market so far. So far so good. All right, yellow bars here now in the hawk. We're getting a red bar buy here on the eagle, which technically has remained bullish. Looks like this whole area around 4,500 is going to be a little bit of a stumbling block. Oh, really? Is that all we're going to see for a test of the extreme? Is that all you're going to give us? The Raptor has produced a hard edge bounce signal. I'm afraid I'm a little bit late on that. Let's see if I can catch it on a limit. Not a suggested method of entry, folks. I'm doing this to simulate the order for you, pretending that we actually got it right here. The danger, of course, is that we're going to produce a higher swing low, and that's going to see the market trade higher. Stops on this should be fairly conservative, I think. And I'm probably going to even pull them back a little further, take them above this morning's high. We'll see if this develops into a double pullback and essentially a bear type flag, like so. Uh-oh, that could be a soft edge buy signal right there. That could be bad. All right, it's probably time to roll the stops a little bit. After all, if we make another swing high here, we're very likely to try to get to the top end of the trading range. Come on, knock him down. There we go, just a little bit. If we manage to get another bar lower here, I'm going to become more aggressive rolling my stops. The reason being that this is really going to be the last chance on the seller's part to force this market lower. If the bears fail at this point, we're almost guaranteed to see 45.08. In fact, if you're one of these types of traders who likes to reverse on their entries, you could place a reversal order a little bit higher and look to buy the market up. All right, here we go. Okay, so I'm going to go with parabolics. They tend to be a little bit more aggressive. We're about to hit the trigger, the break-even trigger. Oh my gosh. We're one tick away. I can always force it to break even. There we go. For one tick, I'm not going to squabble. There we go. Hit the break-even target. And now if we can get a little momentum here below these lows, we should at the very least be able to hit our profit objective. Our gold trade trickled up to our break-even target. There too, you've got over $200 in open profit, so don't be shy about bagging that. It ain't profit till you put it in the bank. What have we got here? A little around $100. So hey, between the two, there's 300 bucks sitting on the table. Come on. No! Don't get to my break even. Hooray. Okay, so caught a little bit of a break. Price is heading lower. We've got our parabolics trailing. So far, so good. Gold just about to tag our profit objective. So on the Eagle trade, so the gold trade progressing nicely. Let's take a look at the support and resistance suite. How low can we go? Well, median line is 44.75 3/4. That seems very probable. That seems like a nice objective if prices, of course, continue lower. Ah, nuts. Oh well, it was worth a try. I think I'm going to punch out of the gold trade though, because if the stock market starts to rally like that, it's going to put a little heat on gold. So I may as well bag what profit we have in gold. Not a bad start. Crude oil looking a little bit weaker here at the moment. The hawk producing a lot of yellow bars. Getting a possible trend change signal here on the Falcon. Don't know how aggressive I want to get on the short side. That is a steamroller of a trend. Not to say there won't be some profit taking, maybe a little bit of a reset, but yikes, I think anything close to this support line here at 38.59, 38.60 would be a score to the downside. And now we're just kind of drifting again. Not quite sure whether I should consider this a rule of three now, where we've got one signal, two signal, here's signal number three. Red bar buys, if I should ignore this little bit of a dip in the band and just say, hey, this is all still part of the uptrend. That's certainly feasible. Now here we're coming with yet another with trend signal. Haven't seen a really good test of the extreme here, so I'm a little hesitant to go crazy either way. We do have a green bar sell here, which we could buy, and here we now have a red bar buy signal. So a couple of things suggesting that perhaps the market is going to get a little stronger on us. This is very much a crapshoot kind of trade though, folks, because look at all these yellow bars through here, right? This is the kind of trade, if you're going to take it, realize that, you know, we got maybe a 50-50 chance, maybe even a 40-60 chance that this trade's going to work out in our favor. So we had the green bar sell here. Let me show you what I was looking at. So we've got the green bar sell signal right here. We could set up to buy the failure, or of course you can sell it with trend. It's not a bad one to take with trend either, because we haven't seen a real test of the extreme, right? We haven't seen a retest of the low. Therefore, if you chose to short it, you would expect the market to move a little bit lower, which it did. But now we come back with a red bar buy signal, kind of suggesting that, hey, maybe this failure of the green bar sell coupled with the red bar buy, we might see something head up. Don't you just love how definite trading is? It might do this. Yeah, it might. Okay, not happy with where I am right now. These yellow bars, this lack of momentum, I might have just shot myself in the foot here. Okay, and now I think it's time to get these stops in. Once again, if it fails at this point, you might as well tag me out. I'll give it 2 or 3 ticks below the low, this little swing low, in case they try to drive it lower one more time. Look at that, they just came up short of our break-even trigger. Scoundrels. Get up there. Get up there. It will help you along a little bit. Get going. Where's Ray Burke when I need him? I need him. Push! There we go. Come on. Get up there. Okay, I'm really going to chicken out now. I'm going to give it this bar that we're working on. So I've got my stop below there. Oh, whew, that was hard work. I had my stop below this bar. Why? Well, the bar showed me the sellers were trying to push the market lower. How do I know that? Well, because of this tail that's on the bar. So the sellers were trying to push the market lower. The buyers were trying to push the market back. Because at the time I rolled my stops, the bar looked a little bit more like it did here when it finished. It was looking a little bit more bullish. The logic is if the bulls lose their grip at this point, then the sellers are very likely going to take out this low. I might as well take my stop early. I gave it lots of opportunities. You know, we started with our stop down here, and then when they made their second run up from this part here, I brought my stop in below the lows. I gave them a few ticks in case they tried to dip one more time. And then this bar here was kind of really their last chance, what I deemed to be their last chance. So I brought my stop in here, and fortunately for me, it did go up and hit its profit objective. And it looks like we might even be getting a little more traction besides that. Here on the Falcon, at the same time, we had a late filter entry signal combined with a trend change signal, so another good opportunity. Same kind of logic behind this one. We know it's a high probability trade. Ideally, I would set it up with my stops below the low. That would be ideal. The reason being, if the market tries to swing one more time, this is the place you're really going to know, yeah, I was totally wrong. No point in jamming my stops in ultra tight in case it hiccups. You know, it makes a little move lower, just retest these lows one more time and then goes higher. Similar to this setup here, ignore the trend line for a moment, how it goes in of sync, out of sync. But notice the market tried a couple of times to regain the uptrend before ultimately heading lower. Same kind of scenario here. Here's attempt number 1 to regain the downtrend. There may be attempt number 2 to regain the downtrend before the market goes higher. In this instance, it was a non-issue. But you don't know that at the time. You have to plan for it. Here on the Raptor, we had a soft edge sell signal right here. Technically, this was also a soft edge sell. Did not have a decent test of the extreme. Same thing here on the Raptor, where we've got the market. You could consider this a retest. Wasn't much of a retest. This was a more significant retest. And then this was the third retest, and the market kind of gave up after that, produced the soft edge buy signal, and had the nice little follow through to it. pray for us. So a quiet morning, but a profitable morning all the same. We're only a half hour into the session, but you know what? I think my day would be done. For a Friday to walk with about 500 bucks, that's not a bad day. Now we're kind of into some resistance again. The market's slowing somewhat. Looks like we're getting a little bit of a pullback. Let's take a look here on the Eagle. And it might be an early reaction to these highs. Hard to say at this point. But, you know, after a run up like that, we would expect a little bit more follow through if in fact the buyers had control of the market. And that's not what we're seeing. Not yet anyway. Okay, nice little macro pullback opportunity here. Again, I'm not convinced that the buyers have control of the market. Well, here we'll just follow it through. If I took this one, you see, I've got to run my stop fairly deep because there's very little structure through here at the moment. Come on, get up there, get that target. There we go. So the macro pullback did have enough follow through to it. And here come the bulls again, showing the sellers who's boss. Getting the market a little bit pinched. Or not. I was looking at the width of these bars that are forming, thinking that we're seeing some sellers come into the market. See how wide these bars are beginning to get here on the birds. As we know, volume accompanies turning points. So when you get heavy volume on bars, very often we don't necessarily see a full-on reversal, but maybe a more significant pullback. I don't know if anybody's betting on the market ranging today. I'm watching the rafter here to see whether I'm going to get a soft edge sell signal, maybe see the market continue back to this morning's lows. We're at the highs of the opening range right now, and you can see they put in a pretty significant bar right here. The rafter trying to come back with yet another buy signal. I do believe we'll be seeing something similar here on the Falcon. Yes, we are. And perhaps the beginnings of a 4-arrow consolidation here on the Hawk. This might actually be an easier short, but like they say, the big money is always on the surprise side. So if I'm thinking to short, maybe I should be buying instead. Surprise! Well, they're taking their time. Very important bar going through here right now. Shoot, they're going to make me make a decision here. All right. I don't like buying at the top end of the range, but here we are. You can do the same trade on the Falcon. There's going to be a similar trade on the Eagle. What we're trying to do is flush out all the sellers. Okay, there's the signal. It did trip. I just hit the buy market button, which actually gave us a little bit of a positive slip. Suppose I should get a stop and play here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to risk this a little bit deeper still. So I'm looking at the hard edge as a possible retracement if in fact this is a trend change. Uh-oh. Not liking that. Come on, get up there. Come on. Come on, give me one bullish bar here. There we go. Okay. Again, I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive here and just start tightening up. The market made a pretty quick reaction to our buying attempts by moving lower. And in fact, if I had done this on the Falcon, I probably would have been better off because I could have set my trade. Oh, maybe I would have got filled all the same. But if we fail at this point, we're probably going to see the market head lower. This is what I would consider a lower probability signal. Taking it where we did, this was the better signal right here, out of the cloud edge, or the cloud crossover. If we can get this bar to finish higher, we have a small hope of the trade working out. Come on, get up there. Come on, get up there. You stinkers. Come on, here, we'll give you a little nudge. It helped last time. There we go. Push you up. There. Get going. Get higher. I need another push. Push. Ray could do it better than I could. The orders are trying to chew through here. We're seeing, some buying effort. There is an effort. That's a really good effort. That's an excellent effort on the part of the buyers. If we don't get a follow through off of that, there we go. There we go. Come on. Get through there. Come on. Oh, that's what I want to see. Might even have caught a break here. Come on, get going. Keep chewing through those orders. There we go. Come on. As you can tell, I'm not giving this trade a whole lot of room to wiggle. Usually I try to tell you, give the trade a little bit more room to sort itself out. But when it's, bouncing around like this, a lot of times I will get more aggressive with my stop. Come on, get up there. Give it another nudge. Yeah, like Tony says, instead of a mouse push, we need a rat push. Yeah, get in there with a big stick. Come on, get up there. So had we taken our signal here, pardon me, we could be in a break-even situation already. At the moment, my objective is just to get the trade to break even. I could snap it to break even here and just give it this bar to sort itself out. As it is, I'm giving it the range of the current bar. If it finishes on the low, it's going to stop me out. And you know what? That's close enough to break even for me. I'm going to force it to break even from here. And we'll go with parabolics if we catch a lucky break and actually see the market trade to our profit target and beyond. Feel better about the trade now that it's at break even. Let's just take a look here if we had, yes we did, we had comparable signals here on the Raptor. So we had a macro pullback signal. Oh, actually that was the first one we looked at. Here was the second macro pullback signal. It was also in with a 4-arrow consolidation, even though this fourth signal, or the second signal of the 4-arrow consolidation, didn't actually trigger. Still had that sideways consolidation type flavor to it. But even if you missed that, you did get the macro pullback. And it did find its scalp target. So it looks like a pretty good day just to be scalping, really. In fact, if I were smart, I would probably scalp, just grab the 50 bucks and say, thank you very much. Whew, that was hard. Hard work. Well, the momentum definitely drying up a little bit. Might be seeing a reversal signal coming here shortly. Now that we've kind of, seems like we're cresting and maybe drifting a little sideways. You can see it here on the Raptor. It's trying to get a little bit of a sideways drift, almost like if you threw a ball in the air, it starts to arch and then flatten out and then start to head down the other way. That's almost how things are beginning to look. The Raptor, of course, with its soft edge sell signal, will be one of the earlier signals. The Hawk should produce a red bar buy signal, which we could short the failure of. Crude oil also sideways. Gold has gone sideways since that earlier rally that we saw. It's going to be one of those kinds of days. All right, so here comes now our third macro pullback signal in the hawk. And there's our red bar buy. Okay, come on, give me that buy signal. Give me a chance to short you. Oh, and there's the soft edge sell there on the Raptor. Now, again, I'm not recommended. I'm doing this for illustration purposes only. I'm going to see if we can catch this on a limit so I can pretend we actually got filled here. Now we actually got filled on the hash mark. Possible trend change coming here in the Falcon and possible red bar buy which we can short in the hawk. This soft edge sell on the Raptor, not ideal because we haven't seen the test of the extreme yet. Therefore, you're going to have to risk your stops way up there. That's where you're going to have to keep your stops in case the market does try to retest the highs. And look at where we're at again, where we're finding support. This whole 4,500 area. Very significant resistance point for the NASDAQ. Oh, come on. You're going to get up there. Just get up there already. I know you will because we need to see the retest. We need to see the retest of the highs. We need to get our trend change signal here in the Falcon. Oh, and our red bar buy disappeared in the hawk. Oh, nuts. Look at that here on the Raptor. On the retest, they did touch the sell signal, but didn't get high enough to actually engage it. All right, well, if they're going to turn over, we should see a first micro-macro cross here on the hawk. And a trend change signal on the Falcon. Don't think we're going to be getting much out of the Eagle on the trend change, that is, if in fact we are looking at a trend change. cancel this order. I was hoping to demonstrate how I would manage it if I took that soft edge sell. If anybody did take that soft edge sell, let me know and I will show you what I would do with it. Your first target would be the hard edge. You would be looking for the market to retrace to the hard edge, which is pretty much where we're at. There you go. Just hit your target, and anything past here is gravy. Let's see where the next support line is, 44.92. That's a probable second objective. That would be your primary resistance line. Wow, finally got a first micro-macro cross signal. The structure is the problem on this one. Ideally, you want to risk it right up to the high, because we have, well, you could risk it to the arch here in the macro line. That would be acceptable. Now we need to readjust our parameters a little bit. Here we go with the lack of momentum again. We come into the hard edge. The market, the buyers decide to start buying up the market. We're getting a mixed bag of signals here. The eagle remains bullish, as does the raptor. The falcon and the hawk already much more bearish. In fact, I can readjust my hawk signal here. And this one too, I should have kept my stop up here, but I was just being a little bit quick on the entry. Just get that in play before the market moves past me. Here we go. Come on. Give me that scalp. So we've got the break-even trigger in play. Oh, don't swing there. Come on. Head a little lower. You know you want to. Remember 44.92? That's where you want to go. Oh, come on. Come on. Oh my goodness, did everybody go home already? What's the volume like? Oop. Volume is 317. Volume is a little on the thin side. Let's see, what do we have up here? Yeah, that's a little better. 2,000, almost 2,100 on this bar. And let's see what the volume is on the bar next to the one we're working, 265. So not a lot of traders throwing their hat in. There we go. Okay, we got the break even. Come on, get down there. Oh, whew. Oh, wow. That was hard work. Okay, and now we're heading toward the 44.92, which was our objective, which is the primary resistance line here on the Falcon. You can see our support and resistance suite. 44.92 is primary resistance. Can probably anticipate a little bit of the market to slow down once it got there. But this would have been a dandy soft edge sell right here on the Raptor. Even though the setup wasn't ideal, just the fact that the market kept struggling to get higher. You know, each leg, here was the breakout leg, right? Nice breakout leg. Next leg up, not bad, decent momentum, and then all of a sudden it's like, what's going on? What happened to all this momentum? Note the sideways drift. Remember my throw the ball in the air analogy. Does it not look very much like that? And then here we start to reverse. Start to reverse, produced a signal. Soft edge sell, ideally we would have seen a little bit of a quick little retest in here and then the market come back with the sell signal. That would have been preferable, but still not a bad trade to try to put some money on. Oh, way to go, Tony. Tony got out at 42.93. He says that's enough excitement for me. I know, it's one of those kind of days. 42.93, I think it did well. So here we had our soft edge sell, nice little decline, kind of halfways in the opening range of the session today, which is probably what you might expect from a market that's a little bit flatlined. Yeah, we got our first micro macro cross, had to nurse that one a little bit. Gold still sideways, crude still sideways. The NQ does have room to move here to the downside though. Yesterday's lows were in around the 44.50 area. We're trading around 4,500. There's a full 50 points to be had to the short side if in fact the sellers grab hold of this market. Not so sure the bulls will let them do that. I don't think we're going to drift all that far from 4,500 today, you know that? We'll stick with it a little bit longer, but I'm getting the feeling this is going to be an early day. The only good thing about when the market moves this slow is you've got a lot of time to put your orders together. You're not rushing, you're not making snap decisions. You got a chance to look at it, say, yeah, okay, this is what's going on. This is how I should frame my trade. Now here we're coming back with a red bar buy here on the Eagle. Is this going to retest the highs? Is this going to be our test of the extreme? The buyer's coming in a little early. And look at where they're stalling again, 4,500. Shoot, you could draw a line right at 4,500. And I bet you it would dissect this morning's range perfectly. Look at that. Almost perfectly balanced. Well, does anyone have any questions? Anything they would like me to take a look at, perhaps? Or have you fallen asleep when the market's like this? I think I should have one of those lounges here in my office and just kick out the lounge and have a nap. One more push lower. Macro pullback right here. I'm a little bit tardy on the signal. Here's a trend change signal on the Falcon. Oh, sorry, actually trend change signal developed right there. This is a possible late filter entry signal on the Falcon. Unfortunately, the signal is going to end up printing right here around 44.94 quarter, and then we still have this whole 44.92 area to deal with. It's not a bad trade if you can risk it way, way, way up here. No, but now we're working on a green signal, so we can pretty much forget about that. Well, you guys, I think we're going to shut down the room. I don't think there's going to be too much more going on right now. Like I said, my opinion is that the market's not going to drift too far from 4,500. If the bottom lets go, like I said, there is lots of room. Next stop would be down here, 44, 75, 76. That is feasible. However, given the way the market's unfolding today, I'm not convinced it has enough momentum to get there. Sometimes things really loosen up through the lunch hour, but I don't know. If you posted a profit today, I would say that's a good way to go into the weekend. A reminder once again, I'm going to be out of town the next couple of weeks. Mark on your calendar April 25th. That's when the trading room will reopen. I will still be available via email, providing I get a decent internet connection. And otherwise, Thanks, Tony. Yes, I do intend to have some fun while I'm away. And I hope you guys, this is a good opportunity for you to practice. A lot of times it's easy to follow me along and see what I'm doing, but when you're actually put on the spot and you have to make your own decisions, that's when you realize, oh, hey, I need to ask Eric about this, that, or the other thing. Make a note of it and be sure to ask me when I get back. All right, you guys, we'll talk to you later. Bye for now.